the truth movement, the mass media, the craziness we're seeing with the whole Sheen debacle and all that other stuff that they're throwing at us. The truth movement is about the acquisition of knowledge. Without reason and wisdom, knowledge is meaningless. You're just collecting it from, it's like collecting Legos or never building anything out of them. Look, I've got more Legos than everybody else. Yeah, well, what have you built out of them? I don't know. And if you're building something that they show you how to build on the instruction packet, you're not doing anything. So without reasoning and wisdom, knowledge is meaningless. It's like Legos are meaningless unless you have creativity. So the point of all this is all of this, what we were doing, many of us, this information gathering, this search for occult knowledge, whether you took the truther route or whether you took the New Age route and somehow you ended up here, you should know, or at least have some idea that now, that everything you've done is completely meaningless without human experience, more so importantly than reason and wisdom. Human experience is the basis of, well, one, why we're here. Who is in charge? And I hear this on a lot of other shows, like, oh, no, it's not this group, it's this group. And I've talked about that before. Look, it's not that turd pile that all you flies are gathered around. I found a new turd pile. I am so smart. Follow me. This turd pile is actually in control of us. No. The Illuminati. The eye in the sky. The eye in the pyramid. Those who seek to control us. Who is the eye? What does the eye mean? How are we going to fight them, the Illuminati? Who is number one, right? Who runs the game? Who is in charge? Who's number one? Who is at the top of the pyramid? Who does the eye represent? The common perception is the eye of the pyramid may represent, the power structure of the Illuminati going back. It may represent off-world control, let's say by a deity like Lucifer or, I don't know, name Quetzalcoatl or Jehovah, or they're all the same. I mean, they're not all the same, they're different, but ultimately, what is it? It's an external power. Okay, the Satanists or the Christians, or the Jews or the Muslims, when you give away your power to an external authority, you take away power from yourself. Government works the same way. You give them your power, and then you bitch that they are making your life miserable. All it is it's a rabbit hole, yeah, in other words, an anus, for people to go crawl up inside, get covered in feces, and come all out no better off than they were than when they started that quest for finding the eye inside the brown eye. There needs to be a balance. We got like the New Age Kumbaya singers over there, and then we got like the get your guns and fight New World Order people over here, and there's a medium somewhere there. Just for the record, there is no Illuminati, okay? Yeah, I said it. There's no Illuminati. Going around looking for the Illuminati is a waste of your time. This hunt for the Illuminati, which is a neurolinguistic program that was put into us, was meant to waste our time and energy and make us feel scared and insignificant. It's meant to disguise our, okay, that's going to scare some people, our godhood from us. What proof do you have that there's a new Illuminati out there other than stuff that you've heard other people say based on stuff that they've read from other people? Or stuff they've heard from other people? What proof do we have? I'm not saying there's no conspiracy, but what is the eye? Why are so many idiots out there wearing a T-shirt with either an upside-down pyramid or a pyramid with a, what is it, like that circle with a line through it? What, where did they get that? Do you even know what that symbol means before you go and put it on a shirt? Oh, wait, up with tyrants, down with tyrants. It's just a dialectic. If there is no Illuminati, and yet you are fighting, you're Don Quixote, okay? You're fighting windmills, and you're fighting things that you can't control, and that you don't even need to try and control, and you're dead within because you've managed to commit suicide in the process. then you're not helping anyone. And the system works. The system works. I'm not saying there's not a system, but there's no Illuminati. Okay? We saw it in the Prisoner series. You know, here's this guy in this island, and by the way, you know, aside from the extra episodes that were meaningless, the premise is pretty simple. You know, here's this guy. He's on some place. He's trying to get out. He sees this massive conspiracy. He's number 6. He doesn't want to be number 6, although 6 is the number of man. At least 666 is the number of man. And in other words, he hasn't completed his own personal trinity yet, okay, to become the beast. Yeah, I know. That's scary for some people, but you have to do that to become complete. You have to become your own trinity. You have to create your soul, find your soul, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, he's looking for number 1 because, you know, his biggest enemy is number 2. And have you noticed, and this speaks exactly to a good reason why, if any of you are in the truth movement, you should divorce yourself from it, because you're being led by the nose hairs. I don't know what's the appropriate expression. Somebody's grabbed a hold of your cock and is dragging you along someplace you don't want to go. Did you notice how every week on the Prisoner series there was a different number 2, and now that's the new enemy who's like making his life miserable, and it's always a different number 2? Well, what have you seen? Those of you who joined this, the sheep movement, I'm going to start calling it the sheep movement instead of the truth movement. Those of you who joined the sheep movement a long time ago, you were given, you know, the facts like, no, these are the people who are controlling the world. And like, no, it's this group that's controlling the world. And now there's new hosts going like, no, it's this group that's controlling the world. There's always a new number 2, okay, and it's always a number 2. And it goes right along with what I said before, with what all these people are doing is they're just discovering new dung piles. What's another name for a pile of feces? Number 2. And he finally comes to the realization that he's number 1. Who's number 1? You are. Who's the eye in the pyramid? I am. Who's the big guy? Who's the one that can make you do all sorts of things? You. You are. No, it's not the Illuminati. It's the Satanists. No, it's the English aristocracy. It's an English conspiracy. It's the Anglophile conspiracy. No, it's the Jews. It's just another dung pile, another number 2, and you number 2 for all the flies to congregate to. All right, and who's the Lord of the Flies? Well, it's Beelzebub. But yeah, maybe that makes sense. We're all playing in Beelzebub's dung heap, and we're under his control because it's so easy to keep pointing to people with things, you know. Getting to fight windmills. That's what this New World Order is. It's a windmill. It's a windmill. The New World Order is already here. It may not make sense to you how I can get out there and make a blanket statement like there's no Illuminati, because it's not my job to prove to you there's no Illuminati. I mean, you could say that it's your job to prove to me that there's an Illuminati, but you can't do it. You can cite a bunch of stuff that a lot of people you've heard from other people or you've read somewhere else, but that doesn't prove anything. People really need to rethink all the crap they've learned through this conspiracy movement about the Illuminati and all that crap. I'm serious. It's crap. It's crap. You really need to start rethinking that. They're making it harder now as this system, which you can call the New World Order, you can call it whatever you want. I mean, my point is the New World Order is already here. It's a prison in your own mind. They don't need an Illuminati. You create your own Illuminati, and then now this conspiracy movement's fighting these stupid windmills that they build and created. Okay? What a joke. If you haven't divorced yourself from the truth movement, well, you bloody well need to, all right? You need to. People need to look at themselves instead of pointing fingers at others. We're all like, yeah, those sheep need to look within themselves and stop pointing the fingers at others. Yeah, those sheep. That renewed, you know, what I believe about what is going on with this whole truth movement. It's just a bunch of dumbasses who think that it's always somebody else. And I think about this whole idea of using the phrase sheep is really insidious, because there's a bunch of sheep running around pointing at the other sheep right now. And they're thinking that those sheep are sheep because they know something that they don't. And very, very few people would actually look within and point that finger at themselves before pointing it at others. Who's number 1? It's them. They're number 1. And we have to bring them down so we can become number 1. It's that programming, fighting windmills. South Park showed it pretty good. You know, you had a bunch of idiots running around calling other people sheeple while they were sheep themselves. a lot of what constitutes this alternative radio, what I'm hearing is a bunch of pawns trying to guess what the big game is. All we can really do is guess as to what the big game is, because it's a game that we never crafted the rules to. One thing people need to remember as they're trying to analyze what these events that are going on mean, as you've got these neurolinguistic programs running through your head which guided you to do exactly what you're doing today, myself included, again in case anybody thinks I'm like attacking them, is that the game doesn't really get interesting until all the pawns are moved out. Now the thing is, so there's just so many pawns, they can't control all of us if we're the pawns. Okay, we've got to think like on a multiple level chessboard here, okay? But the pawns need to move out before the big pieces are actually put into play, because you don't want to risk those big pieces until the pawns make their moves. When I say their moves, I'm saying the pawns make your moves. Because through the use, and you need to listen to the show last week, through the use of neurolinguistic programming, you can get the pawns to think that they are acting on their own when they are moving to exactly the square you want them to. This whole sheeple meme, it's really just a dialectic. Somebody gives you two choices, okay? And because you're stupid and we're stupid, we don't see that there's really no choice in the matter. I tried an exercise in here once where I was like, all right, I want all of you, and we're not doing it now, you don't have to go participate. I want all of you to participate in their own stupidity, to admit their own stupidity. I've done it, okay? I've stepped back in my life and I'm like, I am an idiot. And that is the most liberating thing you can say to yourself. So many people are so terrified of making that statement. They're afraid they'll lose listeners. They're afraid they'll be judged. They have no idea how liberating that is. But it's, when people liberate themselves, no, it's so much easier to go like, yeah, I agree with that host 100%. Those stupid people over there, those sheep, those truthers, those whoever, anybody but you needs to admit their own stupidity so they can move on with their life and never come to that liberating moment. Because once you admit you're stupid, now you can do anything you want. You have no idea how liberating admitting your own stupidity and that you were had will be, and that you can get on with your life and become a better person than you are today would be. I've done it, and it's amazing.